Hi everybody, here is our reading HMH lesson for Friday, September 18th. This is lesson 1.9. All right, so what we are going over is we are going to be talking about being a good citizen. We're going to read the story, Being a Good Citizen. Before we start reading the story, I want us to talk a little bit about, sorry, I opened it up. About adjectives. So words that describe people, places, and things are called adjectives. Remember, I always tell, sometimes in the videos, I always say adjective. What's an adjective? They're words that describe a noun. What's a noun? Person, place, or thing. So an adjective describes person, place, or thing. So in your vocabulary notebooks, I need you to go ahead and take those out. Today, I want you to write adjectives in there. Okay, you're going to write the word adjectives and highlight that for you. And then you're going to write are words that describe people, places, or things. And then next to it, I want you to write noun. So you add the word noun, okay? Adjectives are words that describe people, places, or things. And then write in parentheses noun. Because that's a noun, right? Adjectives are words that describe a noun. And nouns are people, places, or things. So write that down. All right, so for example, these are adjectives. It looks red. It smells sweet. It feels damp. Damp means kind of wet. Adjectives can show what someone or something is like or how they act. Okay, so Lynn is always polite. What's the adjective? Polite. Who is polite? What's the subject? What's the noun? Lynn. Very good. So Lynn is always polite. And remember, polite was one of our dictionary words, and we said, or one of our vocabulary words, and we said that polite means to act in a good manner, right? Use a dictionary to find some of the meanings of these adjectives. So let's go ahead and look here and see the different meanings of these adjectives. So here's some examples. We have sight. We can say that our sight is shiny, thin, right? That sight is things we can see. So we can see that something is shiny. We can see that something is thin, right? And then we have hearing. You can hear that something is noisy. You can hear that something is squeaky. You can smell. We can smell things that are fresh. We can smell things that are rotten. We can smell things that smell good. We can smell stinky smells, right? And then touch. We can touch things that are fuzzy, that are sharp, that are soft. And then we can taste. We can taste sour, juicy. We can taste bitter, sweet. And then acts and likes. So somebody could act sleepy. Somebody can act excited. These are all adjectives. Shiny, thin, noisy, squeaky, fresh, rotten, fuzzy, sharp, sour, juicy, sleepy, excited. These are all adjectives because they describe something. Right? All right, so do I have to write all that down? No, silly. All you have to write down is adjectives and the definition, which is our words that describe people, places, or things. And in parentheses, I want you to write noun. Okay? N-O-U-N. All right. So what is this? Let me just make sure this is not part of what we are doing now. Okay, yeah, it's not. All right, so now let's go back and get ready to read our story for today. We are reading Being a Good Citizen. So being a good citizen, let's talk about genre for a minute. It is an informational text. That means it's a story that gives us information. It is one kind of nonfiction. It gives facts about a topic. As you read Being a Good Citizen, we're going to look for the main topic and details. What's the big topic and what are the details? We're going to look at the pictures, the photographs, and facts about the events. This story is full of facts. It's a nonfiction story. It's an informational text. It's giving you information. That's the genre. Informational text. All right. As you read, we're going to summarize the story. Use your own words to describe the most important idea in an order that makes sense. So we're going to summarize when we're done reading, so pay attention. Let's go over a few words that we went over yesterday. We said elected. Elected means when you choose somebody, right? Local means like nearby. like in your local area near where you live. Mock means like to do like something fake beforehand, right? Or like we do mock writing before we do the real writing, right? People mock playing doctor, right? It's not really, they're not really doctors, they're mocking it, they're playing doctors. And then we went over the word compliment, and that means to say something nice or to do something in a nice manner or to say something nice to somebody else. That's a compliment. Okay, let's build background. Listen to the audio to find ways up to help your community. Let's listen together.
Ways to help your community. Helping your community may seem like a big job.
Sorry, something happened. Anyway, let's listen to the audio to find out ways to help your community.
Ways to help your community. Helping your community may seem like a big job, but there are many small ways you can help. Start in your neighborhood. Help neighbors work in their garden. Draw pictures or make cards for someone who is sick. Ask for help to take old towels and blankets to an animal shelter. Choose books and games that you no longer use and give them to a children's hospital. What ideas do you have to help others in your community?
That is a good idea. It's really good to sometimes clean up our toys and things that we don't play with or the clothes that don't fit. Maybe donate them. That's a good idea. All right, being a good citizen. Before we read the story, we are going to make a prediction. That means we're going to make an educated guess, a good guess, about what the story will be about. We have to page through the story. That means we're going to look through the story, and we are going to try to figure out what it's going to be about. What is this called that's in dark blue? This is called, that says community living. This is called a heading. A heading. So a heading is the beginning part of each section, and it gives us an idea of what they are going to be talking about in that section. So here it says community living. Okay, so maybe they're going to tell us about the community. On the other side, we have a picture of people like cleaning up maybe the backyard or cleaning up before the park. And then here, just joking, there's a little cartoon about the wave. It's obviously fictional here because does a wave have a face and a mouth? No, it does not. Okay, let's keep going. We're just paging through it. Oh, let's look here. Again, here's another heading because a heading is the part that tells you what that section is about. It's usually larger, bolder, and it's always at the top of that section. So this one is called Get Involved. So maybe they'll be teaching us about ways to get involved in the community, right? And then it looks like this is a school and this is a police officer and he's talking, right? He's talking nicely to students because I see a student's head right there. So it looks like they're learning about how they can get involved. Here, what is this girl doing? She's voting. Very good. She's voting. So maybe how to participate in your community, right? Help others. The heading here says help others. So ways that we can be helpful to others. And looks like a whole bunch of kids that are happy. All right, so let's go ahead and start reading. I'm going to start on the first page. I assigned this to you on HMH, so if you look under my assignments, you should see it there. It's going to show up until September 22nd. It's due, so you can go over there and look at it and read it. All right, let's start reading. All right, community living. Remember, this is the heading. I'm going to go through and highlight all the headings just so we can get used to the word heading and how that looks. All right. Today, instead of me reading it, I'm going to play it, and then I'll read a page, and then I'll play a page, because I know it gets annoying to hear my voice for a while, and then you start blocking it out. So I'm going to go ahead and play it.
Community living. Everyone is part of a community. A community is a place where people live, work, and play. Each community is made up of neighborhoods. Those neighborhoods are made up of people. You are one of those people. So you are part of a community. Good citizens make the community a better place. A citizen is a person who lives in a certain place. It can be a town or city, state or country. How can you be a good citizen? Make a difference in your community. Learn about your elected officials and follow rules. Get involved in community activities. be a good neighbor and help others. Do you want to learn more? Of course you do. Keep reading to find out more about how you can be a good citizen. Just joking. Question. How did the ocean greet its neighbor? Answer. It waved.
So just joking is the heading here, and that's just telling you that it's a joke. All right, so I'm going to highlight that heading. All right. Why do you think the author began the selection with this heading, Community Living? Maybe to let us know what the section is about. Let's see, what did we learn about living in a community? We learned that each community is made up of possibly a neighborhood or made up of people, right? People who live together as common citizens. Let's see. Looking here, we can see a picture of a real life boy and a girl. This helps support the idea that this is an informational story. It's a nonfiction story, the genre of the story. The text gives us facts about being a good citizen and things that we can do to be a better citizen. So when they say learn about elected officials, what they mean is learn about the people that you can go out there and vote for. Before you go out there and vote, learn about what they believe, about what they want to do, about how they can make things better, about what they have to offer. Okay? And get a little background knowledge about who that person is before you go out there and vote for them, because that's going to be a community leader, right? And that leader is going to make the rules and the decisions that you have to live with. So it's really important to learn about those elected officials before you go out and vote. All right, so in voting is a good way of being a, good community citizen, right? All right. Moving on. Get involved. Good citizens are involved in the community. They get to know their neighbors and other citizens. They work to make their community a better place to live. All right, the title is what? Get involved. So I'm going to highlight that. What can you do to get involved? Start by taking part in after-school activities. Join a community center or youth group. They have programs and activities for kids. You can have fun and make new friends. It says just joking. Let's read this joke. And that is the title. So I'm going to highlight that. All right. Did you hear the joke about the community center's roof? Answer. Never mind. It's over your head. Get it? Did you hear it? No, it's over your head. Okay. Anyway, after-school activities can be a good way to try new things. So maybe like art or sports. Those are good ways to try new things. Okay, so the author is giving us really good ideas about how to be a good citizen. The author does like to joke, so they kind of stop at something serious and then they just put a little joke in there to make the story a little more pleasing for the reader, right? Why do you think the author uses headings to get involved? What do you think you will read about? Why did she use this heading get involved? What are they talking about here? They're talking about how to get involved in your community, right? That's why she titled it Get Involved. So in here, they're showing you a picture of how you can get involved with your school community after school. And let's read here how you can get involved in other ways. Another way to get involved is to follow local news. They will let you know what is going on in your community. For example, you might learn that your police department is teaching a free bike safety class. Maybe you will want to take the class. How can you follow the news? Read school and local newspapers. Watch the local news with a parent. Then talk about what you learned. Ask family members their opinions and share your opinions. Right? They're getting involved in their local community by learning about what's going on and then providing their opinion or input. All right.
Being a good citizen includes voting. Citizens can vote in local, state, and national elections. You must be 18 years old to vote in most states. Every 4 years, citizens elect the President of the United States. Kids can vote too. How? Many schools invite kids to take part in a mock election. It helps students learn about the election process.
So it's a mock election. So is it a real election? Because you can't vote until you're 18. So, but this is a mock election just to get everybody involved in the community in the school, right? In class, we had a mock election a few years ago. If we come back, maybe we'll have another one. All right, let's see here. This looks like it might be another joke. The title is Did You Know? And highlight that. All right, did you know? People in the United States vote on Election Day. It is also the first Tuesday. It is always the Tuesday after the first Monday in November. So that's Election Day. All right. So is this a joke? No, it gives us a date here. It says the first Monday in November. So if it gives you a date, then we know that this is actually a fact. Okay? It's not a joke. I thought it was because of the cartoon, but it's not. All right. Let's keep going. How else can you get involved? Learn about your community history. Visit museums and town landmarks. Go with a parent to take a tour of your city hall. Meet some of your elected officials. Attend a school board meeting. Some schools have a student council. They organize special activities and help make school decisions. If you have a student council, you can vote to elect officers. You may also want to serve on the council. That's cool. I used to be in student council when I was in school. So it's a good way to get involved in your community, and you actually have the ability to make decisions in some things. Not everything, but some things. All right. What is this part mostly about? It's mostly about how to get involved in your community, right? How to be a good citizen in your community. A good citizen can vote in school, right? We learned that. A good citizen can vote in school, in the local, state, and national elections. Another way to get involved is to visit museums and landmarks. On the previous page, we learned that watching the news and reading the newspaper is also a good way to get involved in your community. All right, moving on. All right, help others. Here's another title or a heading that we have to highlight. So, help others. What do you guys think this part of the passage will be about? I think it will be about helping others, right? All right, let's listen.
Help others. Good citizens are active in community service. They volunteer their time to help others. They also donate items and money to people in need. That can make a big difference in people's lives. Helping others can make a difference in your life too. It can bring you a lot of joy. Doing good deeds can inspire others to do the same.
What is the good deed she's doing here? The girl is playing or helping the little girl that is on the wheelchair, right? She's helping push her. That's a good deed. All right, let's keep going. The fun fact.
Fun fact. Doing a kind act can make you just as happy as receiving one. Both affect your brain in the same way. They make your brain give off feel-good chemicals, say scientists.
Very good. All right, so what is the purpose of this fun fact? The purpose of this fun fact is to give us information in a fun way about why helping others helps you too. So in a fun, cute way, they're showing us how helping others is also helping yourself, right? It lets out this chemical in your brain that makes you just as happy helping somebody as somebody helping you. All right. So what questions, this is the author's purpose. So what is the author's purpose of writing the story? To give us information on how to be a good citizen, right? The author taught more about how to be a good citizen and gave ideas to help us, participate in the community. All right, let's keep going.
You do to help others.
What can you do to help others?
Start by doing random acts of kindness. Those acts are small, kind gestures. For example, draw a picture for a friend or family member. Say a friendly hello to a neighbor. Give flowers to a teacher. Hold the door open for the next person. Read a book to a younger child. Give someone a compliment. You can do random acts of kindness every day. See how many kind acts you can do for others.
Very good. So she's smiling at her teacher, the little girl. She's giving her maybe her favorite fruit, and she's being respectful. Over here, it looks like maybe his older sister. She's being respectful to him by being nice and helping him with his homework. So it is important to do these small acts of kindness. Why is this selection really important to the story? It helps us understand how to help others, different ways. It gives us examples on how we can help others. We can help others by volunteering our time, by donating items, giving money to people who need it. They can also do random acts of kindness, just small acts of kindness, small things that are kind. Being a good citizen helps make a community a better place. It also makes you feel good about yourself. Are you ready? Okay, now it's time for me to put it all together and explain what the story is mostly about. I will use the headings in the story to help me. The headings are important, that's why I highlighted them. This story is mostly about how to be a good citizen in our community. One way to be a good citizen is get involved by taking part in after-school activities, right? And voting. Another way to be a good citizen is by helping others, volunteering, donating, doing small acts of kindness. Those are all things that we can do. All right, so I just kind of wrapped it up for you. Let's see, were we right? Our prediction in the beginning of the story was that the story was going to be about how to be a better community member, right? How to be a better citizen. Were we right? We were right. That's kind of what the story was about, right? And it's important to make a prediction just to make sure that you're understanding what you're reading before you read. All right. All right. So use details from being a good citizen. So what have we learned about being a good citizen? We just talked about that. Find 3 questions the author asks readers. Why do you think she asks questions instead of telling the facts? I think she might ask us questions because she's trying to get us to think, right? To think, are we right? Are we wrong? Is what we understand correct or is it not, right? Maybe even making a connection. Use details from the text, that's the story, to tell how helping in the community can also help you. All right. We kind of already talked about all that, so I'm going to move on. All right. If someone asked you for directions about how to be a good citizen, what would you tell him or her? Use details from the words and pictures to explain your ideas. So, first think of 3 steps to follow to be a good citizen. Write or draw them in a chart like this. So you're gonna come up with a little chart. I want you to just draw this on a piece of notebook paper, and you're gonna write step 1, step 2, step 3. Inside of each step, I want you to write a way to be a good citizen. Okay, how to be a good citizen in each one. So, for example, maybe in one of them you would write small acts of kindness. Maybe another one we would write becoming involved in the community. Okay, and then, so go back to the story to see what are ways that we could be a good citizen. So then you're going to fill in your little chart, and then you're going to write. Now you're going to type directions that tell how to be a good citizen. Be sure to use directions are easy to follow. So remember to choose the important details in this text, and then use action words that tell your reader exactly what to do. So you're going to write a story about how to be a good citizen, right? If someone asked you for directions about how to be a good citizen, what would you tell them or her? So I would start by writing, you can be a good citizen by, and then your 3 ideas. The 3 ideas you wrote here, step 1, 2, 3 would go here. So I said you could be a good citizen by showing small acts of kindness. And then the other one was becoming involved in your community. And then one of my last ones would probably be, and let's see, small acts of kindness, becoming involved in community. Now I went blank, just the way you probably would too. So I'd have to go back to the story and look at the headings. Helping others, that was a small act of kindness. What was another one? Getting involved. Okay, we talked about that. And then community living. So now I'm going to go back to my story, to my writing. And then I'm going to add that. Becoming involved in your community, small acts of kindness, and being a citizen. I don't want to say becoming a citizen. I would rather say becoming a participating citizen, right? Somebody that does something. Participating citizen in your community. All right, and then that still doesn't answer the question. The question is how, okay? Question is, if somebody asked you directions about how to be a good citizen, what would you tell him or her? How? Okay, so by being a good citizen. So then now I'm going to start saying, you can be a good citizen by, okay, showing small acts of kindness. So what does that mean? By opening the doors for others, and helping, or how about this, and being respectful. Respectful to everyone. Okay, that's one way. So then we already talked about, and then now becoming involved in your community. And then how do you become involved in your community? You can become involved in your community. And remember, we talked about that. How can we become involved in our community? By watching, they said that by watching the local news, or reading the newspaper, or reading the local newspaper. And then the third one was participating citizen. So how can we be a participating citizen in our community? We talked about voting, right? Can't we vote? Okay. You can, oops. Why is it not showing what I'm writing? Oh, there it is. You can become a participating citizen in your community by learning about elected officials and voting. Remember, we talked about before you go out and vote, you actually have to learn about who you're going to vote for and why you're voting for them. All right, so that's part of that. And then that's it. Okay, that's all I'm really asking you to do. Since this story is very to the point, and there really is only 3 points, I'm going to be super nice today, and I'll let you go ahead and copy this down if you'd like. You can use mine. I do want you to try to change it up just slightly. Okay, try to make it your own instead of just copying something down. But the ideas are pretty much the same. So if you want to pause the video and use this, you can. All right. You can either do this in on a piece of paper and turn it into me on the Google Classroom, or you can do it on the HMH website. I prefer you do it on the HMH website. It's under my assignments. And then you would type it in like I did and then just turn it in. Or again, if you don't want to do that, that's okay. You do have to refer back to the story though. So you still have to get on HMH under my assignments. But you can do it either way, that's fine. All right, guys. Have fun learning. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Bye.